You're a programmer, but when you were doing crack.com, you were a creative producer. And to this day, that's what you do. You do a lot of code. You're one of the most in the weeds programmers I know, as far as like you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, AI, all kinds of future thinking stuff, but you also are constantly heavily involved in the creative process too. So, how do you balance the engineering brain with the creative brain, or is it the same thing? Because engineering, especially in games, is a creative process.
You're making me sound way more productive than I am.
Well, I'm not saying you're productive, but I'm saying this is what you do.
Okay. Yeah. So, I struggle with mixing those two, right? And so, typically, I won't always do both, but it just kind of depends. Like I think like there are phases that a project goes through where it calls for more than one or the other, right? But I think I'm sure you've seen this too, just because you're very much like me. I mean, you've done the whole creative producing and coding thing. Like, it's hard to switch gears. So you have to I think you were mentioning you like to deal with the Cokeheads during the daylight hours and then do your coding at night. And I did something similar, but just not quite that structured, where I would switch gears at discrete, times.
Right. I mean, for the audience out there, the term Cokehead.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, I don't know what to say, I invented it, but
no,
I did kind of invent it.
You coined the term the Cokeheads
right.
for biz dev.
Right.
Because it's just a funny way to describe.
But it's true. I mean, I'll just say, for the sake of the audience, the reason why I call business people Cokeheads is because, well, a lot of them are addicted to narcotics. However, I did have a revelation a long time ago. As we're talking about here, the creative process, the business process, and the engineering process, I realized that I don't even drink. I'm a teetotaler.
Yeah.
And I had this. I was at an event one time, and I was trying. This is back in the day when you had to, when in cell phone games before the iPhone, you had to beg cell phone carriers to put your game up. You had to talk to somebody.
Okay.
And there was a period of time when it was really hard to get your game on the store. And there was used to be this big conference every year in San Diego, and everybody was having trouble this year getting their games on the deck. And there was a party at night, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. I went to bed. And the next day, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and he was like, all my games got approved to be distributed. I'm like, how'd you do that? Oh, I just was went out drinking at that party with the guy that's responsible.
Yeah.
And then I saw a Hacker News post a long time ago about a guy who said not drinking ruined his career.
Yeah.
Not drinking ruined his career because he missed out on all the social
That's right.
Opportunities to network with these people. And then I realized, especially after witnessing some narcotics abuse in the industry, I'm like, oh, you know what? I am missing out on a lot of opportunities because I don't do drugs or drink.
I'm sure you did. But you know what? What I love about that expression is that it so mirrors the soul of what biz dev feels like, because it's this roller coaster. I've done Coke a few times, and I'm not a huge fan. I much prefer espresso as a recreational drug. I'm also off caffeine now, but Coke just felt like a very I'm the life of the party. It's incredible, right? And then you're down. You're like, everything sucks, right? And as quick as it was going, it all falls apart. And once you've done biz dev for a while, you're like, oh, I know this feeling where you're like, oh, the deal's going to be done. It's going to be done. Oh, fuck that. I lost the key guy that I knew at the company, and he's gone now, and I have nobody to talk to, right? And suddenly the whole thing is fucking over, and then you have to go back on that roller coaster. And so I think that's the perfect name for it.
Well, I would talk to people all the time, especially people in Silicon Valley who are, I don't know, young, maybe a little bit more naive, and they'd be like, my CEO, he's just amazing. He comes in every day and he's so energized. He always has new ideas. Every day it's a new idea. It's a completely fascinating new concept. Yeah. And he just changes all the time. He's always thinking about something different. He's always super excited about something new every day. And I'm like, that's because he's on a schedule to narcotic. Exactly. That's a symptom of being addicted to narcotics.
Yeah, I actually know a friend of mine is CEO. He won't touch this stuff, but he's one of these guys like Robin Williams. He just has cocaine in his veins. And he's just boundless energy, and I'm very envious of whatever
the natural high.
The natural high, it's incredible.